Hey, this is Captain Curts Garage. Just doing another video on Leroy. Going to do a little longer video here. This is my 72 Charger. Yeah, it's really dirty. Need to wash him. But just figured I'd do a little bit longer video. I have some older videos on my channel. They were pretty crappy. That's why I still put them on there just so people can see. Going around showing my car. You know, interior's pretty decent. I changed the steering wheel to a tough-like steering wheel. That's an aftermarket. Still bench seat. You know, headliner's pretty good. I got this off an old guy probably about 6 years ago from Georgia through Classic Car Dealers in Cadillac, Michigan. It was sight unseen. I seen these cars were coming up in price, and I had a 73 that I did tons of body work on. Worked my ass off on that car, and then eventually had to give it up. So I wanted to find something that was solid at least. It had good bones. This car has good bones. It's solid. It does need work. I got some Super B tail lights for it. Since they don't reproduce these 72 tail lights, I'll put those up. Hold on to them. I'll put the 71 Super B tail lights on there. I have a new rear valance, a new front valance, and excuse me, I got some stuff stuck on my shoes here. But yep, it's a 318 car, 904 transmission, 8 1/4 rear end. If the tag's correct on the rear end, it's like a 271 geared open rear end, which is great for taking a family around the country. I'm not going to do that. I have an 8 3/4 that I've had built up pretty much, that I'm going to put in the car. That's right here. I got a 489 case. I had Oakland ring and pinion set it up. It's clutch style posi with 373 gears. My stepdad that passed away, he always swore by 373 gears were the best for the street, for, you know, if you're doing stoplight to stoplight, because that's usually what most people do. I'm not running a drag strip or trying to be street outlaws. But I've got it pretty much set up. I do a lot of grinding. I got to get rid of the old leaf spring mounts. That was a bastard. Whoever welded those on there had to be the best welder in the known universe, because it was a bastard getting rid of them. But I've got my new mounts. I have my little Art Captain welder. I am not a welder. I have been doing a little bit of practice. I'm going to try and get those on there as solid as I can. If I can't, I'll farm that out. But the axles are from Dr. Diff. And the reason I'm moving the spring purchase is I've had a spring relocation kit from Dr. Diff for I think it's about 5 years. I've been meaning to do it. I didn't want to waste it on the 8 1/4. I figured I'd wait until I got an 8 3/4. And it moves the spring purchase in 1 1/4 inches, which, as you can see by my tires now, I love the 70s look, but I have wheel spacers on there right now because these Mickey Thompsons would bump on the spring. So hopefully once I get the spring relocation kit in, I can just get rid of the spring, I can get rid of the wheel spacers, and that'll move my tires in probably about 1.25 inches. Hopefully. But if not, I don't care. I've tried to give my car the 70s look that made me fall in love with them in the first place, because, hey, these cars just look evil, and I definitely think that they were designed because back then people were raising them up, putting big meats on them, that the body designers designed them to be that way. Because when they're sitting low, they just look like grandma's grocery getter. But when you put some meats, and you don't have to get crazy jacking them up, that's a bad thing. Because back in the 70s and 80s, jacking them up got a bad name, but that was mainly from the Ford and Chevy guys, because they didn't have a adjustable front suspension like the Mopars do. With the torsion bars, Mopar guys, we can raise and lower our front end, our ride height, very easy. So, you get the Chevy guys and they jack them up, and then, well, I got to mess with the coil springs and take those out and put cups in there and all, and then that's why you see a lot of the ridiculous stuff that where it's just so jacked up in the front end. That's crazy. Me, I jacked mine up probably about 3 inches and probably about 1.5 inches in the front. I'm probably going to raise the front maybe a little bit more. I have to see when I put the spring relocation kit in, because I have 2 different spots where I can mount the front of the spring to raise or lower it a little bit. And right now I have adjustable shackles on there where I've actually lowered the rear end a little bit with the adjustable shackles. But we'll see. I'll do a video on that and let everybody know what's going on with that. I'm just a shade tree mechanic. I am not a professional mechanic. I worked on stuff, when I was a teenager in my early 20s. I haven't worked on a lot of stuff in a lot of years. I just started doing it again when I got this car. So, and then there's a lot of help with a lot of the Mopar groups. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for your help. Mopar Connection Magazine. And if you're looking for stuff that's really hard to find, I have to say there's a few really good sellers on eBay, but Classic Industries is one where you'll find a lot of the really hard to find stuff. And their prices aren't bad, but their shipping sucks. But if that's what you need to do to get what you need, I also have a new front valance to put on here. As you can see, you see my my marker lights there. I don't know what the hell those are. The guy that had this before, I think those are for a Ford, and they just crammed them on there to have some kind of light fixtures or whatever. I have the correct light fixtures, new lenses, new gaskets, the new front valance. Hopefully I'm going to put that on there when I get the chance. This is all just, I work every day, and a lot of times it's 10, 12 hours, and I work an odd shift where it's like 5, if we work 12 hours, it's 5 to 5:30 in the morning. So, it's like all I can do to come home and get enough sleep to get up and go back in. But I've got some time off for the 4th coming up, and hopefully I can get a lot more done and do a lot more videos for you guys when I take her out. I've been needing to get it out of the garage and take it for a kind of a shakedown because I've done a lot of work on it. I'm just a everyday average Joe like everybody else. And well, I'm gonna set this down. Alright, get them hood pins out. This is my engine right now. It's a 318. The one that came in the car, I'd have to run the numbers to see if it's, numbers correct. But I have to say, this is a strong running 318. It was a 2-barrel. That 2-barrel started to take a crap. It was leaking fuel. So I decided I put one of those cheap Chinese intakes on it, and a 650 Brawler carb with mechanical secondaries. That might be a mistake. I don't know. I've never had mechanical secondaries, but I've always had people say mechanical secondaries, there's no bog, it's just there. Me and my son-in-law at the time put an MSD coil on it while I still had points, and it came with a second ballast resistor to hook up. Gave us a wiring diagram, and then I was like, I don't want to have to deal with, it's bad enough dealing with one ballast resistor if it goes bad, but two. So finally I said, you know what, I got a electronic distributor, switched it over to that, and switched it over to the MSD box. With the MSD box, you don't need a ballast resistor. And I am not the greatest guy at wiring. It kind of intimidates me, but it was the easiest thing in the world to wire up. And to diagnose it now, way easier. And she runs pretty good. She sounds strong. I don't know where people get that 150 horsepower. I mean, even with a 2-barrel carburetor, there's no way that these cars wouldn't even move themselves out of the way. 150 horsepower. They got to at least be 200 horsepower. That's just ridiculous. But even adding the intake to 4-barrel carb, I can tell this car is way more peppier. I got headers to add to it, which will get her going a little bit better. Which that's one of the main things I always do to a car is if I put headers on it. You can tell that right in the seat of your pants with the headers. I've got it's column shift right now. I have a star shifter for it that I will put on the floor. See what else I got. I have a 440 that I'm going to rebuild. I got off a guy near me, really cool guy. I can't think of his name at the moment, but it was out of a motorhome. There is no ridge in the top of these cylinders. This is a very low mileage motor, and it has a dual roller timing chain on it from the factory, like a lot of the motorhome motors do. It came with a windage tray, which is crazy for a motorhome motor, which, they were all about, I guess the motorhome had to, do its best to pull whatever it was pulling. So, a lot of stuff that was considered performance, they put on these motorhome motors. So I'm going to do an El Cheapo rebuild on this, a cam, some new bearings, new rod bearings, all that stuff. And then I'll probably slap this back together. Eventually it will go in Leroy. And I still have to find me a big block 727. Right now I still have I have the small block 904 in it, which supposedly a lot of drag racers like, because you get about 25 more horsepower through it than a 727. And a lot of people go, oh, those things, they're junk, they blow up. Well, and I've had other people say, well, they'll handle 400 horsepower, no problem, And then I guess you can have them built to where they can handle 600 horsepower. So, there's just a lot of hearsay on the internet. I don't know, you just have to take everything with a grain of salt. But that's my car. This is going to be my channel. I'm going to be doing what I can. Hopefully, I'm going to be off for about a week here. I work for GM, which is funny because I love wearing my Mopar hat and everything in there, my Charger shirt. They're always like, what do you, this is a GM plant. They just mess, most people are cool. They just mess with me, you know what I mean? But that's it. I'm going to do what I can. I'm not I'm not John J. Rockefeller, don't have a lot of money, but I'll try and show you what I do. I'll try and show you, video when I put this rear end in it, which the posi and the 373 gears, should really wake this car up and, make her scoot. But I can tell you one thing, there's some black spots on the floor. This little 318 will turn these big ass meats and lay some rubber with these 271s. So I can't wait to get the 373s in there in the posi. So if you would all, like, subscribe, just help I'm just a average Joe working on a car, working my job, trying to find some time to make some videos. And, if you could help a brother out, help a brother out. Y'all have a good day. Thanks for watching.